Ben Thaler is the referee here in the sunny KCOM Stadium. Pitch in great condition. It's a bit of a breeze blowing around the ground as Hull get first touch of the ball, and Scott Taylor, once a Wigan player, takes the first charge up for the Hull side.
Go one, don't worry, Sam.
And Wigan refreshed,
knock on
and conceding a penalty in the first set of the game.
Well, he'd be mightily relieved. Jordan Lane lost control of the ball. It looked for a second there that Hull FC, first time with the possession of the ball, had lost it, but there was definitely a hand in. Two players in attendance, Farrell and Smithies, and one of them's had a tug at the ball and just given an easy 30-40 metres.
Well, that's a gift at the start of the game for the Black and Whites, courtesy of that Liam Farrell misdemeanor. And here's Chris Green now, taking that ball in, and they're 20 metres away. Here is Albert Kelly now. Kelly on to Sneed. Sneed to Minicello, finally hanging up his boots at the end of this season at the age of 37, Minicello, but he's lost the ball and Wigan have it back.
Well, the way that Hull FC are running into contact and the way that Wigan Warriors are trying to control them. We've already seen a couple of players knocked to the floor. As we see Dan Sargent and try and use some footwork around the ruck area. You can see he goes in, yeah, Thomas Luluwai, he hits hard, but Minicello loses that.
Here's 18-year-old Morgan Smithies in a really settled run in the side at the moment. He's played in 15 of the last 17 games, and it's Wigan's turn to benefit from the referee's whistle. Penalty against Hull FC.
Yeah, really impressed with Morgan Smithies, the man who earns the side a penalty. Look, can't be dominated, can't be put on his back. He's not just a battering ram, he can play as well. He doesn't shirk the tough stuff as well, the youngster.
And that's second penalty of the game. Only had a couple of minutes. We've had 2 penalties already. Here is Smithies once more, originally from Halifax. And Sam Powell. Partington, another of these Wigan youngsters who's been impressing in recent weeks. Partington. Powell. Luluwai, short pass from him to Smithies. Smithies edging his way towards that Hull line. Hull back on their own try line, defending this first assault from the Warriors. Luluwai to Williams. Williams onto Hardaker. Hardaker puts the brakes on, hands off Griffin. Eventually the Hull defence gets a hold of the Warriors fullback. So it's Marshall dipping past to Luluwai. Luluwai onto Powell. Powell runs it at the line. It's Smithies once more, heavily involved in the opening minutes. Here is Morgan Smithies.
4th carries in the opening 3 minutes.
Powell. It's back to Tommy Luluwai, who kicks across field. Sargentson bats the ball down, and it's picked up by Griffin, and Griffin will get away. Minicello is the closest man in support, and Griffin just gets inside. It was Burgess who got inside, but fortunately for him, I think it was Partington coming back to make the tackle.
It's great work by Joe Burgess. Great defending, isn't it? Left winger back covering as the kick came across. It's momentarily stopped Hull from going the length of the field. Still 3 players left.
It's a good job it didn't fall to one of the speedsters. Josh Griffin not having the pace to get clear, but a crucial interception from him. Here's Westerman playing the ball. Now Kelly. Little change of direction from Kelly, and then the ball out wide to Ratu Naulago, and he takes some stopping. Wigan managed to do that. Hardaker. Tuimavave it is, sweeping the ball out to Kelly, and Kelly, crossfield kick from him, way too strong, misdirected. Marshall fields it.
A bit too much meat on that ball for Hull FC, but you see the speed and pace of Wigan. They know and understand that 2 weeks almost between games, they'll have a little bit more energy, a little bit more energy in the legs. Speed and stamina will count for something at the back end of the game, but they need a good start, and we already had a glimpse into the philosophy of Wigan moving the ball from the right sideline to the left sideline. When I watched the 2 teams warm up, Wigan specifically using the ball, passing it. You just see a loose pass go
Foot
right
in touch. Marshall couldn't keep that in play. You were saying?
They're looking to use the ball, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not, but when Liam Marshall goes back to get this ball, even though his foot touches the sideline, he passes it about 3 metres forward anyway. But they're looking for the space, aren't they?
Dan had a little more time, didn't he? But you're right, they want to outflank their opponents. You know, I've never been more excited for a Super League game for several months than coming here today, because these two teams, you talked about the significance of the match, but it's the style of rugby that both of these teams play. I love long-range tries, and these two teams, they're the best in Super League at scoring from players within their own half. 50, 60, 70-metre efforts where there's support play, there's speed, and there's great skill, and I think we'll see at least one try like that tonight.
Yeah, they have scored some spectacular ones. Ratu Nalago's against Catalan comes to mind. But it's Hull in possession with Scott Taylor now just over the halfway line into Wigan territory. And Houghton, Kelly, weaving run. Takes him to the 20-metre line. And here is Westerman, Sneed. Jamie Shaw from full-back to join in and finds Westerman looping pass for Kelly. Lane gets the pass away to Kelly. Kelly puts a lovely kick in, and it's shuffled into touch by Oliver Gildart, and that's really the best he could do.
Well, that's what you like about Albert Kelly, isn't it? Every time he gets his hands on the ball, he's dangerous. Whether he's going to have a show and go or whether he just spots some space. Kicks the ball for Nalago to score. And they're just a phenomenal side when they're playing on the front foot. It looks like they're making it up as they're going. And they get another set of 6 now from the intelligence from Kelly.
Nice bit of work from Jordan Lane. Starting in the back row, the young man made the ball available. 2 hands, presented the ball, and that gave an opportunity to Albert Kelly.
Well, head and feed to Hull FC then. Coming up to 7 minutes on the clock. And Hull in a good position here with Westerman on to Green to Kelly, but Kelly is mobbed by those Wigan tacklers. Farrell leading the way. Shaw, Westerman back for Scott Taylor. 3 tackles gone in this set, and there's another penalty to Hull, bang in front of the posts. It's surely 2 points for Mark Sneed.
Well, the main Navarrete, it's the man who's penalised. You can see that he's got his hand on the ball. It's a little just push down of the fingers onto the ball, and Scott Taylor straight away looks up to the referee, and an easy 2-point take for Mark Sneed. Well, they've been put under some pressure, haven't they, from that kick from Albert Kelly. Another set of 6. They look to set up the attacking points. They set up good attacking shape, and then all of a sudden Lee Radford's got the chance of, do you go for 2 or do you keep the pressure on? And it's 2 points from that man.
And if this game is as close as that early season one between these two sides, when it was Mark Sneed who settled it, then every point or couple of points that comes either side's way will be precious. And it's bang in front of the post, and this to get the scoreboard moving from Mark Sneed, who reached 1,500 career points last time out in the win at Leeds, and he's on the scoreboard again to put the black and whites ahead.
Well, last week in the Cup, they spent so much of the game starting sets near to their own try line. Here was a set that they started 10 metres from their opponents. They've conceded a penalty, it's put them on the front foot, 2-0 up. But good signs, isn't there? We're going to be entertained here tonight by the way that both teams have opened up in this first 10 minutes. In the opening 10, they've wanted to promote the ball. Good weather, great pitch to play on. Both teams with something that really matters at the end of this 80.
Here's Chris Green. Green back in the side, having missed last week. And was absent right at the start of the season, Chris Green, as he recovered from injury, been making up for lost time in recent weeks. Hull into the middle of the field with Minicello, but Griffin took that virtually standing still, and look at that cherry and white wall facing him. But Kelly gets the pass away, and the referee waves play on. It ricocheted into the arms of Liam Farrell. Wigan have it back in great position with tackles in the bag.
Well, Nalago, he takes that. I think he's through a hole, isn't he?
He switched off, didn't he? He gave up on the pass.
But it's a gift for the Wigan Warriors. And here's Liam Farrell. Star of their recent performance. Thomas Luluai now. Luluai drifting across the field. Hardacre took the tackle. Sarginson now. Here's Luluai. Back to Navarrete. Taking it closer to that Hull line. Remain Navarrete. And then Luluai. Luluai teasing the Hull defence, but they didn't fall for it. Houghton as ever among the tacklers. But Williams, short pass from Williams to Gildart. Gildart is only going one way, and that's to the sideline.
Well, good defence, Bill. You've got to be defence-driven in big games. On Hull FC, we're able to deal with the threat and the danger from George Williams and his teammates close to their own line, but now it's, hey boys, hey, bringing this ball away.
There is a danger with Wigan. They are so left-centric with what they're doing. I think it was Zach Hardacre who was calling the ball. It ends up in the hands of Oliver Gildart. He was screaming over on the right-hand side, Zach Hardacre, who's been really good over the last 6, 7, 8 weeks for Wigan.
That was now Largo with the run across field. They're still inside their own 20 as Minicello is tackled. That's 3 tackles gone. So Westerman decides to take matters into his own hands. Makes a few metres for the side. Now Green, but Green quickly closed down and gets the offload away to Taylor, and Taylor takes him on and inches his way towards the halfway line. And still going Taylor over the halfway line.
Wonderful work by the 2 big men for the black and whites. And a good kick at the back end of it. Under pressure from Willie Isa.
Sneed felt that from Isa, but he gets up to his feet. Does Hull's number 7. Shakes off the tackle.
Tremendous work from Chris Green and Scott Taylor. You talked about his injury, Chris Green. He ruptured his Achilles tendon, which often takes power away. But there's power in that tackle from the black and whites. They look like they're on defensively, don't they?
And it looks as though now Largo's trying to make up for that error a few moments ago.
Yeah, well, players always do try and make up, don't they? But look at Albert Kelly, Tumavavi. They hold the Wigan player up, Burgess. They drag him to the sideline, and the hit, the force, just gets him over there.
In fairness, they defended well last week in the Cup. Conceded 2 tries from kicks and I suppose 2 from their own errors. They only missed, I think, 16 tackles and made over 350 against Warrington. So the defence for the last couple of performances has been impressive in terms of not missing one-on-one tackles. And there's that extra effort to win possession. Starting another set of possession inside their opponent's half. That's significant.
Don't look like a side that's weary and feeling sorry for themselves.
No, they're well and truly up for the challenge, aren't they? They know that getting 2 points here goes a long way to finish in 3rd spot.
Well, Lee Radford said in the aftermath of that cup defeat, that's a penalty.
Oliver Partington, he is an absolute goer, isn't he? He's got a good attitude in defence, and all he thinks is that every time that someone's carrying the ball is, I want to get off the line and I want to really hurt them. He's trying to knock Chris Green's arm down so he can get close on contact, wrap the ball up, take him to ground, and now it looks like it could be another easy 2 points for Mark Sneed.
Yep, Sneed is going to go for another 2 points.
He's revved up, isn't it, Oliver Partington? He's just turned round and apologised to his teammates for losing his cool there. Both players with a hand in each other's chest, and Oliver Partington,
he's not
just
the biggest.
bats it away. It's too aggressive.
What are you allowed to do in that situation?
Well, you can't strike, and that's his issue. He's got to find another way of getting in close to the body, but that's a striking charge there.
They both had hands on each other's chest, didn't they? Chris Green, much taller man, much longer in his arm and his reach.
And you see defenders trying to do that, don't you? They want to knock their arm down, they want to get close to them.
So Sneed tees up this penalty attempt. Pretty head-on to the posts, but 40 metres, not a problem. Not a problem to a marksman like Mark Sneed. That's 90 goals for the season now with this evening's 2. 4-0 Hull FC lead.
Well, you talk about conserving energy and being efficient with the energy you've got. That's the most efficient way of putting points on the board, isn't it? They've not had to do any work other than ask Mark Sneed to swing that leg and make sure that the scoreboard ticks over.
Well, Hardacre swings his leg. Just going to say that in the aftermath of the cup defeat, Lee Radford said all Hull's eggs are in the one basket, and they needed to target Old Trafford now. That's the goal. And 3rd place gives them the opportunity. Here's Minicello.
First couple of carries, they go nice and direct. Then all of a sudden, they see how can condensed Wigan are. Then they'd look to try and shift the ball and find some of those smaller edge players out wide. You always know when you play against the Warriors that you're going to be up against an aggressive team that want to hit you hard. You want to look for that one-on-one.
Griffin's dropped it, and Wigan can counter. Marshall will chase this kick from Luluai. Marshall kicks on and loses the race. Just too much from Liam Marshall with the final touch there.
Well, Dan Sargentson come up with a great shot. I think it was Dan Sargentson. Hit right under the ball on Griffin, dislodged it. You can't take advantage of it. It's up to Scott Taylor now to try and carry the ball away from his own line.
First tackle, though, from Thomas Luluai. Plenty of tackles in the bag. Don't get me wrong, if Liam Marshall regathers that ball, scores the try as a hero. There's the hit, there's the pick-up. You see Thomas Luluai spots the space, puts the kick in, but ultimately Wigan give possession away.
Just didn't sit up for Liam Marshall. And now Houghton leads the counter-attack from Hull FC.
How good is Danny Houghton, the man behind the plate? About 62 tackles last week against Warrington in that semi-final.
That's nice from Westerman. Change of direction, make the defenders move, and an offload at the end of it.
Westerman and the Minicello now. Griffin. But Wigan closing him down. Sargentson and Willie Isa doing the tackling. The pass over the top, and the players, Hull players, just stood and watched that one. Eventually it reached Westerman, but that's the fifth tackle. And it's going to be Sneed with the kick. Sneed dinks that one up into the air. Marshall is underneath it, and Marshall gets it. I think it came off Griffin in the end into his hands.
Tackle one.
Now it's Wigan's turn to try and bring it out.
Well, you've got to pressure Mark Sneed at the back end of the sets, because he will drop the ball on a winger's head and make him feel uncomfortable.
Move down.
Look at this. He has to go up for it. Under some pressure, wasn't he, from Faraimo?
So it's Wigan surviving there and then bringing the ball away. And Morgan Smithies wrestling with Jordan Lane. Could have been a penalty there to the Wigan Warriors. Into the middle of the field, just shy of the halfway line. And Luluai decides, somewhat surprisingly, to put the kick in there, which doesn't get a great deal of territory.
Well, it comes off Faraimo, he doesn't play at it, so they won't get the head and feed. Wigan, you can see he's trying to get out of the way. He was trying to place it behind him. They've got to get the go forward right, the Warriors. They know that. They want the field position. Thomas Luluai just quite content to kick the ball or try and kick it behind Hull FC.
I think I get what you're trying to say, Bill, though. The Black and Whites Hull FC, 5 days off the back of a Challenge Cup semi-final. We think that energy and the little and the bit of energy that they've got might be being burnt up in this opening exchange, and it might have been better for Wigan to keep the ball in play.
But now Largo has got the burners on. A good defence as Burgess and Gildart come back. And the referee tells it, the Fijian winger, to play the ball. Less of the theatrics. Here's Scott Taylor. Thought Largo was going to get away then, which is always bad news if you let him run. Now Houghton running. Westerman running. Great hit.
Look at his reaction, Partington. Look at his reaction. Obviously, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see them coming together. But the youngster, and there's plenty of them, another one on the bench in Liam Byrne, they don't respect reputations in the game. They go up against the biggest and the best in Super League, and they'll get well and truly stuck in. Just make yourself as big as possible going into contact, hit Joe Westerman with everything, and just dislodge that ball.
I'm still saying Joe Westerman, aka the kneecap. I'm still saying he's the toughest man in the sport, but you're right. He's getting in there, he's making his presence felt, Oliver Partington, and after the verbals are starting as well.
What would the nature of the conversation be there?
You caught me. I'm going to get you back.
Or words to that effect.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. You've got Joe Westerman, 29 years of age now, been around, a tough character. 20-year-old Oliver Partington just making his way in the game and showing no respect for his elders. And that confrontation has set the platform for this Wigan attack. just inside their own half now. Powell, Shaw pleading his innocence, saying he was trapped in the tackle by Powell. That's good defence from Hull.
Scott Taylor then going hunting on Oliver Partington.
Oh, it could get a bit fierce in there. Here is Willie Isa. Isa uprooted.
You love it, don't you? Just when the temperature seems to just go up another notch.
Partington again. That's the 5th tackle.
Go.
So Powell serves Tommy Luluai the pass. He gets the kick away. Faraimo is underneath it, and Marshall quick to close him down. Faraimo rides the challenge and gets away, does well, the American international wingman.
Well, they've got 2 good strike wingers, haven't they, Phil?
A great opening quarters this game. Oh, it's away,
Kelly is away, but that's a great tackle. It was Hardacre. It needed to be good from Hardacre. Shaw. Tuimavava, you're dead right, Phil.
It's got everything.
It's brilliant. Physical, skill, everyone getting into each other. And Albert Kelly, look at him, that free spirit when he's in the clear.
Movement! Go for
Houghton. Now here is Kelly once more. Kelly to Shaw. Shaw puts the brakes on, but George Williams is there. Shaw gets the pass away to Kelly. Kelly on to Houghton. Taylor ducks so the pass can loop over to Sneed. Sneed to Minicello, who likes to cut back in field. Bang in front of those posts now. That's the 5th tackle. Sneed poised. Little touch with the left boot. Hoists the kick, and Marshall manages to claim it at the 2nd, maybe 3rd attempt.
Every time Mark Sneed's lined up on the left-hand side to kick the ball, it's Willie Isa that's flying out, putting an awful lot of kick pressure on him. They know how good he is at dropping those kicks on the likes of Liam Marshall's head.
You're right though, Tez, if that's what's happening, Mark Sneed, with that scheming brain that he's got, will just get a support player outside of him and sneak a little pass to one of his Hull FC teammates.
Here is George Williams. Williams across the field, but Burgess is surrounded. Kelly with the tackle. Now then, Liam Farrell. That's a penalty to the Wigan Warriors.
Oh, well, that helps them out, that, the 4th player.
It was a funny kind of play, the ball was that one.
I think he just got a leg tuck just as he was standing up to play the ball. Albert Kelly just pulls him round.
Obstructed by Albert Kelly. He couldn't get his foot round. Interference at the play of the ball.
So that is a relieving penalty for the Wigan Warriors. Takes them up to the halfway line. Now then, can they build the pressure? Tony Clubb off the bench for the Wigan Warriors and into the thick of things. Here is Partington. Good tackle on him. Powell's pass for Williams. The forward pass spotted by the Hull supporters and by referee Ben Thaler.
I am not sure about that. I think there was a heavy influence by several thousand over on that far side away from us. Sam Powell, he doesn't agree with the decision, jumps out. Well, it doesn't matter. The referee has given it, and so have about 3,000 black and white fans.
Well, I was right in line with that, and it wasn't forward.
That's the opinion of Stuart Cummins, who was right in line with it. More Super League action coming up tomorrow night from the other end of the table, where it is really tense and some clubs looking over their shoulders at that bottom relegation place. Huddersfield Giants against the Leeds Rhinos tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock on Sky Sports Arena for that one. And the Catalan Dragons have an important game, an important part to play in this top 5 scenario. They host the Warrington Wolves, 5 o'clock Saturday for that on Sky Sports Mix. Hull FC will be hoping that the Dragons can do a double over the Warrington Wolves in Perpignan, because if Hull were to win here tonight and Warrington do lose that one, then Hull could go level on points with the Wire. Intriguing scenarios at the end of the season. Oh, Westerman tried the pass and Farrell nearly snapped it up. Sneed's kick. Too strong.
No, I'm not sure about that. Mark Sneed, a quality player with a good rugby brain. He gets the offload here. Liam Farrell almost got to it. And Mark Sneed, seeing the open space, he backs his teammates to get on the front foot, chase hard, and it just drifted over that back line. and give it an easy ball back to Wigan.
Disappointing for Hull there.
Go.
That coming to nothing. Here is Liam Farrell, scorer of a hat-trick last time out for the Warriors in a man-of-the-match performance. Clubb puffs the cheeks, makes yards for the Warriors towards those Hull posts in the middle of the field. Luluai. Sean O'Loughlin is on there, finds Farrell. Farrell, the centre of the try line in his nostrils. Very close. Gildarts. Williams now, here is Luluai. Morgan Smithies, a little step and then he hurls himself into the tackle from Chris Green. Lane there to assist, Powell, O'Loughlin on to Luluai. Luluai, crossfield kick, Marshall claims it and gets the try. Surely the referee will go to the screen, but Adrian Lamb takes a sip of the drink. And is he going to toast the Warriors' first try of the game? Ben Thaler reckons it is a try, but he wants Robert Hicks's video ref to confirm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Liam Marshall getting the ball down.
Well, I think he actually wants to look to see whether there's a possibility of a foul on the try scorer. Tackled in the air could lead to an extra kick at goal, in other words, an 8-point try. Certainly we see from there that everybody's onside, and I do think that he catches the ball cleanly and scores.
He does a decent job, doesn't he? To keep focusing, knowing that there's a Hull defender in front of him, yeah, he pushes him whilst he's in the air, and that's what the referee spotted, Ben Thaler.
He does remarkably well, doesn't he? Presence of mind to twist his body, get that ball down without losing control of it, but both feet off the ground. Faraimo touches him.
And looking at that, that could be an 8-point try.
8-point try.
Yeah, there you go.
In that case, how can the defender compete though? You're taking any competition out to that contest.
He doesn't compete. When the ball has been caught by Liam.
Yeah. So what can he do then? He's just going to leave him be. You happy with that, Barry?
He's got to wait until the feet are on the floor.
And then what? So he can't touch him until then.
Got this, and then you've got a penalty under the
Well, those are the rules in the field of play.
And we can see here the touch judge is stood in front of the post. He's marking where it is. The penalty here, can't tackle in the air at all, either defensively or attack.
Sorry, what he's got to be better at, he's got to be better at positioning where that kick is, marking his man and challenging for the ball in the air, instead of just waiting for him to catch the ball and then trying to manhandle him whilst he's in the air. And I know what Barry's saying, you've got to let him get to ground. Obviously, it's a dangerous task, isn't it? But Faraimo's got to be better in the air, challenging for the ball.
So Hardacre to put Wigan in front for the first time tonight with this conversion from out wide. If he doesn't land this, he's going to get another opportunity from bang in front of those posts, but this looks pretty good. Oh, this is going to be a bitter wound for Hull FC, because Hardacre's kicked that from out wide, and now he's going to repeat it surely from bang in front of the posts.
And even to set up the try in the field position, Sean O'Loughlin's touch going nice and straight, holding the defenders, which then puts pressure on the outside men, and they just couldn't handle that.
I think they've only put one poor kick in, and it was Thomas Luluai. When they got the ball off a good tackle, the ball was dislodged. He put it 10-15 metres downfield, but apart from that, every kick for Wigan has been spot on.
So Hardacre turns it into an 8-pointer for Wigan. 4-0 down, they lead 8-4.
And they've been under some pressure, haven't they, as well, in this game. Well, a decent kick, a decent take from Marshall. And you can see the celebrations from the teammate, Zach Hardacre.
You can see there, can't you? He's looking at the ball, then he sees that Liam Marshall is in a great position to catch it. He's lost out on that battle. Then the decision he makes is to try and push him while his feet are off the ground.
So that's a big turnaround. As the Wigan Warriors come from 4-0 down to lead 8-4. And coming up to the half-hour mark, bit of a problem in the ground for the spectators here at the KCOM Stadium. The big screens that they have not working, not able to show the replays due to a technical problem. But it was pretty obvious what had happened there and why referee Ben Thaler awarded that 8-point try. Here's Clubb now. Can Wigan
Play it,
pile on the pressure? That's the 5th tackle. And it's Williams this time hoisting this kick. And it's now Largo underneath that one, but he's solid as the kick comes in.
That's a big set after point. 70 metres carrying the ball, then getting to the kick into the corner, challenging the winger, now challenging the centre who gets a risky offload away to the fullback. And all that happened then is Smithies was ready to pounce on him. Jamie Shawley had nowhere to go.
I'll just go back to that try, though. What is Beretta Ferramo supposed to do? Is he just going to stand there?
If I was a casual
and watch
sports
Liam
fan,
Marshall score?
Tune into Sky Sports tonight. It doesn't seem quite right, that. But anyway, those are the rules at the moment, and so maybe at the end of the season is something they can address. Doesn't seem good sport. Here's Matongo.
Massi Matongo back in action after 10 games out. And he's a big presence in a big Hull pack as Kelly hoists that kick, but it's easy for Hardacre, just around about his 20-metre line. And the Wigan fullback, who's missed only 2 games this season, brings the ball back. Here is Dan Sarginson, parting company with the club at the end of the season. 40 metres line in Wigan's half. Gildart.
I agree with you, but that kick was far too easy for Zach Hardacre to take. Then all of a sudden, Gildart and Sarginson playing off speed. Now the powerful run here from Byrne.
It's Liam Byrne, another of the front rowers, onto the field for Adrian Lamb's side. And Wigan rolling forward, looking threatening. It's Williams with the kick, Burgess with the chase, and they just managed to get the ball dead to the Hull FC players. Shaw sweeping across well to deny Burgess.
Well, they start the sets off really well. Zach Hardacre really easy, caught the ball on the full. Then it's all about speed. Then off the run from Byrne, George Williams goes at the line, spots some space, puts the kick in. I think this player is another one who's got a great future. Remember him last time he was on Sky Sports against Paulie. Adrian Lamb knows what he's got with some of his youngsters.
And Hull FC have made an important change here. They've brought Jake Connor on. Lee Radford knows he has to change the rhythm of this game. He has to change what Hull FC are doing at the back end of sets.
Interesting, Jake Connor coming off the bench. He was sub last week in the cup tie against Warrington. He'd started the previous 16 games.
He's got hold of him. Go.
There he is. He can hold the key for Hull FC. Very elusive, creative player. There's a whole knee in there. Was that Stuart?
Yeah, just knee in the ruck, trying to slow the play of the ball down again.
Well, they go for 2 points here, surely, won't they, Wigan?
No.
Take it to 6-point advantage. And just knees in from Josh Griffin. Finds himself now in the back row.
We're just going to say that. They've made a change, haven't they? Brought Jake Connor on, taken off Mark Minicello, and pushed Griffin further infield. Bigger engine, bit more pace. And back rower in his pace, a big asset. And Jake Connor locked in on this left side, but I'm sure Lee Radford will say, look, just get involved. Give us something.
Cheers, buddy.
He likes to be involved, Jake Connor.
Okay.
So Hardacre, 2 from 2 on a warm, not as warm, but it's still sultry and hot inside the KCOM Stadium as Hardacre hits the target. And Wigan extend their lead, 10-4.
I said before about Adrian Lamb's side getting the go forward sorted. The reaction to come back from that disadvantage on the scoreboard from Lee Radford's men. They were nice and cool, weren't they? Even when they went 4 points behind to 2 Mark Sneed penalties.
Here is Liam Byrne. Albert Kelly in there. He's put himself around defensively as Albert Kelly.
It's a very important 8 minutes here now for the whole side. They put a lot of effort into that first 20, threw a lot of passes, took some risks. You know, you probably say should have maybe been ahead by a bit more. They played some good rugby, but they're still struggling here now. They found themselves behind. And at times this season, they've really let their heads drop when things have gone against them. Will it do again here now before half-time?
Yep, Gareth Ellis, not one to let his head drop. He's out there. 38 years of age, Minicello retiring. Ellis still going strong. Surely not into another season, but he's come to their rescue this season as Gareth Ellis.
They're using him very wisely, aren't they? That's a long kick, and he has plenty of time to catch that and try and gobble up some metres. But just going back to Gareth Ellis, the difference he makes to this side on the field when he gets on after about half an hour, he lifts everybody. Everybody reacts to him. Strong in defence, strong with the ball, and a talismanic figure for the black and whites.
Here is Faraimo. Haven't seen his attacking prowess. He's scored tries in 4 of the last 5 games as the wingman. Ellis has got a bang.
Sam Powell has as well. I think Sam Powell just hits does he hit Gareth Ellis' hip? And he goes in, it certainly goes in really hard. You can see, yeah.
Club clonks him as well, didn't he?
Well,
clobbered by Club. Poleaxed by Powell.
Well, 2 physical players. Here, there. You can see Gareth Ellis, he takes one off Tony Club. Sam Powell underneath, gets that tackle wrong, gets his head in the wrong position.
Just a minute,
Did he had a shed load of stitches when he played against St Helens, didn't he?
You can see the stitches
so
mark, the big scar under his left eye.
It's 40.
All right,
40 stitches or something extraordinary like that.
4. Wait there, lads.
There it is.
Still a good looking
It's
lad.
just added to the character in his face, hasn't it?
He's still a good looking lad, Gaz.
Well, that's the sort of face you get when you get 450 career appearances under your belt.
Yeah, and he started out wide, didn't he? He started in the centre.
That's another high tackle. O'Loughlin on the Tongo.
And he's hurt himself
Oh
there.
dear.
Oh, yeah. Is that his pec? He ends up with an outstretched arm, doesn't he, over on that left side.
It's his neck, not his pec.
Sean O'Loughlin. Matongo looks like he's injured.
Yeah, you're right.
Sean O'Loughlin. Well, that's not right.
His neck's hit him there. He's appealing for a penalty.
Physio on to have a word with Sean O'Loughlin in the meantime.
And you know, you can see from the Hull FC fans there that the players that no one's flew in at Sean O'Loughlin. I know that opposition fans think he's a dirty player. He is a competitor, but he got that tackle wrong.
Here's Jamie Shaw. Here is Jake Connor. Well, O'Loughlin.
No, he's not right. Look at him.
No,
he
that
won't get
left
involved.
arm hanging by his side.
Won't get involved with that,
I'd be surprised if he's not torn his pec there.
Oh. He's just signalled to the sidelines, and this is an opportunity. Can Hull capitalise? O'Loughlin is struggling.
I think Mark Sneed spotted him as well. Go the wrong way.
But that's good work.
Oh, great
Kelly
kick.
Gets the kick away. Now Largo weaving his way in field, gets the ball back to Kelly. Off the cuff stuff here. Matongo. But Powell makes the tackle.
Think about what you're doing.
Houghton, Sneed, little step from him. Westerman stands, does well to get the pass away to Griffin. Griffin keeps it going. Luluai down low. That's 4 tackles gone. Here's Houghton, Sneed across the field to Westerman. Westerman to Ellis.
And Sean O'Loughlin is still in the defensive line, frantically trying to get the attention of the physios.
Oh, the pass to Largo was down on the deck, and the wingman frustrated, but to be fair, it was behind him and on the ground.
If that execution was right and it's on the money, that's a try. That you could see that Joe Burgess, he turns his hips in, he's looking inside him.
It's probably a little bit too flat, isn't he, now, Longo? If he's a metre deeper, there's
Sean O'Loughlin. If it is a pectoral injury, then it's similar to what Liam Farrell had, didn't he? He was injured in the World Cup Challenge against the Sydney Roosters back at the start of the season. Missed a long time.
Oh, that's disappointing. That's a disappointing sight for Wigan fans. Sean O'Loughlin back tonight after 3 games out and leaving the field disconsolate. The Wigan Warriors captain. Well, here is Gildart now. 10-4, beg your pardon. Wigan leads. Half-time approaching. And on the attack with Williams. Skip from him. He gets away from the tackle meister. Houghton gets the pass away to Isa. Isa manages to carry it on to Sarginson. Sarginson. Good footwork from him as he comes back across the field. Navarrete, nothing so fancy from the Frenchman. But Jordan Lane makes the tackle on him. That's the 5th. Kick. Oh, Luluai puts the ball down, had a little look up, and the ball just evaded his grasp.
Oh, one of the most experienced players on the field now, Thomas Luluai, under no pressure from the marker or from the tight defender at the ruck. He just drops the ball cleanly. Good pass as well from Sam Powell. He won't blame his teammate. He puts his hands up. He acknowledges to his side that he's made a mistake.
Well, we've got 4 minutes or so thereabouts, haven't we, before half-time. Need to see if they can get the ball to the number 14 hole. Jake Connor sat on the bench. He is the number 4 with it, but Jake Connor sat on the bench for the opening quarter. He's fresh, he's got energy, and he can break down through this Wigan line. Just needs to get his hands on it.
At the moment, they're going to the other side of the field. The ball with Jordan Lane for Hull FC, who have yet to crack this Wigan defence. Their points coming from those 2 marks. Sneed penalties, and that pass is down at the toes of Kelly. He couldn't take it. Powell snaps it up, and Wigan will look to capitalise on that.
It's a tired pass, isn't it?
I was just going to say the same thing.
Pass.
It's not quite hit the mark by one of the most durable characters on the Hull FC field.
Hull's defence is keeping them afloat here.
But they are desperate for that hooter, and they've got to make sure they don't go into the changing rooms. Another try down.
Here is Luluai. Byrne now, but Byrne runs into Ellis and Matongo. Lane comes in to assist. Powell goes for his 3rd one-pointer of the season, and that one dribbles under the posts. And Ben Thaler says it was...
The ball was played at.
Yeah, the ball's come off a Hull FC player. That's what the referee, Ben Thaler's said. It's Griffin that goes at him, puts pressure on him, and straight away, Sam Powell knows that Josh Griffin has made contact with this ball.
Can't see it almost, can you? But if the referee's given that.
That's harsh, because that wasn't going to trouble the scorer, was it?
Mark, let's go, please.
Griffin just to flick at it, and it means that Hull will have to endure more pressure in the last few minutes of this first half. It's been a really fascinating 40 minutes. Okay, there have been a fair few errors, but the intensity, the passion has been there.
Yeah, nothing in the game at all. The eight of the points that they've conceded, Hull FC, it was from a kick to the corner, wasn't it? And obviously the easy penalty under the sticks then to follow it on. But both of these sides are absolutely turning into each other.
It's Byrne playing the ball. That looked forward to Williams. It was, says referee Ben Thaler. And I think that was forwards.
It's a question of the knock-on at the play the ball as well. I don't know which of the 2 offences he's given here.
Yep.
Well, it was definitely forward, Bill. I agree with you.
You were right in line with it.
Is it moving along the line?
It is.
That's forward.
Stay on side. Dan, get on side.
So that...
There's been a little bit of verbals. I can just feel it and sense it, that players are getting stuck into one another. Adrian Lamb seen enough. He's going to make his way down to the sideline.
Looking frustrated.
Yeah.
Because that was a good opportunity, wasn't it?
Got to take your chances. And Adrian Lamb knows that that's a chance gone and miss.
Here's Ratu Nalago. Danger man, but stopped by club. Westerman. Hull will be keen. Obviously, they'll be keen to get more points on the board, but just as keen to deny Wigan any further advantage in this game. In this half, shall we say. A minute to go with the first 40 minutes then. And the ball with Houghton finds Westerman. Westerman for Gareth Ellis. Played in his 7th Cup semi-final last weekend when he faced the Warrington Wolves. The ball back with Sneed, and Sneed hoists that one. Isa again is on the scene, and this time Sneed doesn't get up so quickly. The referee awards the penalty.
That was late. You get given a job by your coach, and that's the job from Willie Isa. You can see exactly what his focus is, what he's trying to do.
I don't think that's a bad Barry. I don't know what's your view. He's got to put pressure on the kicker.
He's trying to intimidate him with his line speed.
He doesn't. That's not a penalty.
He can't pull out of that.
Phil, it is.
Realistically, look, when he kicks that ball, is he already committed?
The fact he's off both feet doesn't help Willie Isa, does it?
He jumps into it,
Stewart.
Well, it's a borderline. There's a lot in the game, isn't there? You could say that he doesn't have to take off at the end.
Yeah,
but it's,
you can't stop though instantly, Barry, can you?
The ball's gone.
Does it,
Before...
Yeah.
You know, with 35 seconds left, if this is a easy striking range for Mark Sneed, if he's okay,
Who kicks it?
you go for 2 points.
Penalties are
I
up
think
here,
Mark
guys.
Sneed will kick it.
referee's just trying to
Penalties
determine
here,
exactly where the
where
ball
the ball
lands, because
bounces.
that's where the penalty kick will take place from, and that's a significant thing, how close to sideline, how close to try line. Sneed had a penalty goal from about this area at the end of the first half in the cup last week. Quite nail it.
Have a word with him. Penalty.
Well, I can recall about half an hour ago, Willie Isa really going hard, and you're right, Tez, that is his job. He's supposed to take the time away
So what's the
from
difference,
Mark
Barry?
Sneed.
You didn't think that was a penalty? How's that one?
Jake Connor's got the ball meanwhile.
Well, they line it up.
The difference is that one, that last one was later.
Mark Sneed's now walked over to Jake Connor, said, no, you step back, I've got this one covered.
Feisty on the pitch, Feisty in the commentary department.
I told you I could sense it. There's no Yorkshire Day spirit here.
Haven't mentioned Yorkshire Day yet.
Well, happy Yorkshire Day to all our Yorkshire friends.
So Sneed has recovered from that tackle, if you can call it that, from Willie Isa. And we'll look to close the first 40 minutes with another successful kick. He's kicked 2 already tonight. And this to cut the deficit. Just the one try in this first half, scored by Wigan's Liam Marshall. And a penalty try it was as well. Now Sneed. Lining this one up. Trickiest one he's faced so far. And he is bang on target, recovered from the knock. Possibly not fully. Lee Radford will be relieved with that. There's a bit going on at the moment. Sneed is on the receiving end. Willie Isa.
Willie Isa went looking then for him. Few verbals. And Willie Isa just walks away as though he wasn't involved in the first place. Look at him. This game obviously got another 40 minutes to go, and it's going to be as feisty in the second half as it has been in the first. Wow.
Still words being exchanged. The Wigan players not impressed. Tony Clubb just trying to diffuse the situation. And Mark Sneed obviously has ruffled some Wigan feathers.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the second half, Bill.
Absolutely. One try, plenty of action, plenty of drama, and plenty of goodwill on Yorkshire Day as Wigan take on Hull FC.
Formula One moves to beautiful Budapest, the Hungaroring Hungarian Grand Prix practice day 1, 9:45 a.m. tomorrow on Sky Sports Formula One. Saturday is qualifying, that starts at 1 p.m. and it's race day on Sunday, 12:30 p.m. again on Sky Sports Formula One. Our focus tonight is on the Rugby League. The Betfred Super League round 24 has commenced at the KCOM Stadium. The home side trailing by 4 points at half-time. The reigning champions, the Wigan Warriors, 10-6 to the good. Let's have a look at the first half stats from that game. Possession split 50-50, low completion rates for both sides. 6 handling errors will be bemoaned by Hull FC. Wigan transgressing and forcing Ben Thaler into blowing his whistle more often, no doubt, than Adrian Lamb would have liked. Hull FC relatively solid defence, just 4 missed tackles to Wigan's 11. Let's take you into the dressing rooms here at the KCOM Stadium. We're in the company of John Wilkin. Lee Radford was hoping his side wouldn't be fatigued mentally or physically from their Challenge Cup exploits, you would suggest at half-time they haven't shown many signs of that?
No, they started really well. I thought physically the strength of carry in the opening sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes was great. They were making plenty of yardage, and you know, the result of that was some points through penalties from Mark Sneyd. And what's Lee Radford's message going to be here? Well, I think they need to come up with points when they have possession. He'll be on his notepad looking at ways in which he can unlock this Wigan defence.
I wonder what Adrian Lamb will make of that. Sluggish start, but they didn't go too far behind because it was just 2 penalties to Mark Sneyd, and then they got that penalty try, well, an 8-point try, Liam Marshall and Zach Hardacre kicking a penalty. Adrian Lamb's assessment in your thought?
Well, I think Wigan have been defensively very solid. They've used those outside backs to carry and get them on the front foot. Big thing for me, Sean O'Loughlin, going off with it looks like a pec tear. His input, although it was 10 minutes long, was really a big difference for Wigan, and he's going to be a huge loss.
You sometimes get an indication of how close a side thinks the game is going to be by the decisions to take 2 points early in this game. Hull FC did it twice, winning pretty good field position. Mark Sneyd deciding that a penalty was the better option for them. It's a great little kick attacking Wigan's left edge, and the penalty came not long after that.
Yeah, but my question is, I suppose, really, you know, where the ambition from Hull was at that stage, and we're looking here at the tussle between that Wigan's left edge, which we spoke about, and the Hull right-hand side defence in those opening exchanges came up with some great answers. You know, defensively we're very good, but is this lack of ambition from Hull? You know, you get into these positions and you've got an opportunity to attack. You know, if your attack's going well, you back yourself to score. They didn't, but this was O'Loughlin at his best.
What could Beretta Faraimo have been thinking here?
Well, not a lot is probably the answer. Look, I think you've got to just come up with something. Ended up being obviously the 8-point try, but is it lack of ambition from Hull? How are they going to unlock this Wigan defence? That's the question for me.
They would say that they're only 4 points behind at half-time in a game that they have had to recover from those Challenge Cup exploits in. They've got second 40 minutes to go. Let's get the first half thoughts of John Wells down at the touchscreen. John, what did you make of that?
If they can deal with the absence of Sean O'Loughlin, it looks like he's not going to play a part in the second half. I think Wigan will go on to win this, and I'll tell you why. Their 1%ers for this half-time focus have been better than Hull FC. To give you some context, let me show you what Hull FC were up to first 15 minutes. 3 times they did this in the opening quarter of an hour. Twice they came up with errors off the back of it, and it was not what we were expecting from Hull FC. We were expecting strong carries, working up the middle, and they'd gone side to side and then forced errors a couple of times, and that really robbed them of possession and momentum. By contrast, Wigan, the 1%ers, did extremely well, and they needed some rearguard action from Zach Hardacre. Have a look at this. I want to make a big thing of this because this is special. When Griffin gets the offload here, have a look at Hardacre, have a look at what Albert Kelly does. Takes him one side, then ducks back the other. Just look at Zach Hardacre's reaction here. So here's Kelly. He's got very, very little time there to adjust. He plants his feet. That is I'm not going to say try-saving tackle, but certainly a momentum-stopping tackle from him. Again, 1%ers, not game winners in their own right, but Sargentson, this is the first of 2 carries. Off the scrum, takes 15 metres, quick play the ball, Sam Powell's away. That sort of stuff will really hurt your opposition. It burns up energy. It starts to put doubt in the minds of their strength of their ruck defence. Here he is again. Again, it's that mentality that he's going to go and take yards when they're out there. Here's the third thing, execution. This is in the lead up to the try, not panicking. Have a look at Luluai as he comes back here and sets up. Just have a look at Tommy Luluai here. There's the kick, it's on. He's told his wingman it's on, and then it's about the execution. This is a pinpoint perfect kick, and the take as well. As we take another look from a different angle, the take, he catches this ball right at the top of his jump, does Marshall. It's those combination of those little 1%ers done well that I think Wigan are doing, and Hull FC at the moment are not. I reckon if they can deal with the absence of Sean O'Loughlin, they take home the 2 points tonight.
All right, John Wells isn't for changing. Is John Wilkin for changing? You picked the Wigan Warriors before the game. Chance you'll jump ship. I would suggest a more fired up Hull FC coming out in the second half if the end of that first half is anything to go off. Yeah,
there's obviously a bit of conflict there just before half-time. Look, I'm back in Wigan here. I think the leg speed's great. We see the challenge from Willie Ice, so that's his job. You know, he's upset because Mark Sneyd made more of it than it was. He shouldn't have made as much of it as he did. Wigan were upset with it, and that's the reaction we saw. Will that fire Hull up? I don't know, but I fancy Wigan. I think they've got the leg speed and they're going to run this whole team around like we said before the game.
Notwithstanding the absence of Sean O'Loughlin.
Yeah, that's a big loss, but they've got to have to deal with it.
Okay, we have second 40 minutes coming up. There's 4 points in it here at the KCOM Stadium in round 24 of the Betfred Super League. Hull FC trailing by 4. The Wigan Warriors, the reigning champions, hoping to push into the top 3 in the playoffs. Can they do it? They've said today would be massive in that quest. We'll see if they can do it after this break.
Smith becomes the leading point scorer of all time. Oh, shot Sam Burgess.
Whitehead, part of the Fab Four. Bateman, first try in Canberra colours. The Englishmen have gone bang bang.
More NRL action coming up on Sky Sports on Saturday. Doubleheader, 6 a.m. for Manly against Newcastle on Arena and main event. Followed at 10:30 a.m. on Arena by Cronulla against South Sydney. And then Sunday, St George Illawarra against Parramatta, 7 a.m. on Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports main event. Here at the KCOM Stadium, it's Hull FC 6, Wigan Warriors 10. And just looking at that NRL footage and seeing John Bateman in there, and you think, wow, can you imagine him involved in it? He'd love this, wouldn't he?
And I'm sure that man, Adrian Lamb, would have liked to have still had him in the ranks. John Bateman, well, the winning of this game. The team's got to hold the nerve in the second half, stay focused on the job. And Adrian Lamb talked about an opening fiery 20 minutes. Well, what about the opening 10 or 20 minutes in this second half?
Absolutely. The man who was at the centre of it all, Mark Sneed, getting the second half underway then. Here in Hull, where Wigan lead, but only narrowly, 10 points to 6. That Liam Marshall try, all Hull's points coming from the boot of Mark Sneed. So it's going to be a tense second half. Westerman and Navarrete tangling. And here is Tony Clubb making inroads into the Hull defence. Motongo back in the side after 10 outs. He'll have plenty of energy. Here's Liam Farrell. Farrell, that scampering run, that familiar running style, but Jordan Lane gets a hold of one of those legs and brings him down, and then Williams lobs that kick into the air. Not a bad one, but Shaw comes for it, claims it, made it his, the fullback.
And that'll be so important for both sides in this second half. Getting to your kicks and turning the ball over on your terms. And then what you've got to deal with then is this line speed again that we talked about in the first half. Looking to slow you down, looking to get in your face.
Hull have a pretty ropey record at home against Wigan. 1 win in a decade against the Warriors. That was in June 2017 on this ground, that is. Of course, they went to Wigan and won in Golden Point extra time earlier on this season. As Houghton puts the kick in. And from the position they were in, that's probably not a bad return.
Decent kick there from Danny Houghton. According to our stats, done 30 tackles in that first half, and it's been off the back of some of the defensive efforts from the Black and Whites that they've managed to keep that scoreline so tight, and the aggression that Wigan are playing with certainly ruffling the feathers of the Black and Whites.
Farimo and Sneed making the tackle. On Marshall it was. Here's Sarginson now. Griffin gets a grip on him. Powell. Now it's with George Williams trying to put a little burst of pace to wrong foot Motongo, but Motongo and Lane stand firm. Another kick into the arms of Farimo. Farimo will return it. It's an opportunity to go down to the sidelines. Get the half-time news from Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Spoke to Lee Radford, who looked really relaxed. He said that his side are just really structured. They need to get excited when they get the ball, and he wants to see them more on the front foot. But he said he's very confident that they can walk away with the 2 points today. As far as Adrian Lamb goes, he came out looking really happy, smiling. He says that he's really happy with his side's defence. Of course, he's kept Hull tryless in that first half. He's happy that he said that his players are turning up for each other and they need to just fix their completion rate. As far as Sean O'Loughlin goes, massive blow, a chest injury. He won't be coming back, and of course he's only playing in his first game back after that Achilles injury he suffered a month ago.
Yeah, it is disappointment for Wigan. Sean O'Loughlin again picking up an injury. Let's hope it's not a long-term problem. Here is Gildart bursting onto that ball as Wigan try and work their way out of defence. He hops his way to the 40.
And it's in the back division of both teams. Very often when we watch Wigan or Hull FC, we talk about the importance and the involvement of Jamie Shaw, Zach Hardacre.
It's obstruction, isn't it?
Obstruction.
Well, he's giving himself
potentially.
he gets to play the ball. No advantage gained.
And Zach Hardacre, one of the players I've been talking about there, get more involved. We saw when George Williams had that ball the last time Wigan were in possession, he wasn't in the right spot, Hardacre. And likewise, Jamie Shaw just failed to make an impact so far.
That's a winger returning the ball for Imo.
There's nothing fancy about Beretta for Imo, is there?
Well, sometimes, Bill, I say it all the time, when you've got a strong line coming up for you, you've got to pick your target, you've got to go with him. Look at him, he picks his target, that target's Sam Powell, he bumps him back, and then it's the flop from the number 36, Byrne. That's what the penalty's been awarded for, and that's the reward from running hard.
It's like he's trying to barge down a door when he took Powell on there. He'll end up with a penalty, and Sneed fires that into touch. Still inside their own half, Hull FC. Brad Fash.
It's a good run from Hull. They've not won enough of the collisions, the little mini battles that take place. There's a first win for them, and Kelly drops it on the next play.
Kelly goes without it. He's complaining about something.
Well, he can't have anything to complain about, really. He drops the ball. Like what Phil said, Brad Fash come up with a really good, strong carry to get through some defenders. And then when you've got someone like Danny Houghton, the experience he's got, yeah, it wasn't probably the best of passes, but Albert Kelly should have took that.
What Albert Kelly wants is he wants the ball off the floor, because he keeps bringing players back inside. He's running across defence, dropping players off, possibly trying to target the middlemen of Wigan, tire them out. But just, you're right, Tez, just because Danny Houghton picks it up and takes half a second doesn't really give Albert Kelly the right to turn round and give his hooker a spray.
Willie Isa gets a boo or two from the Hull FC crowd after that run-in with Mark Sneed at the end of the first half.
And a cheer because he just was on his haunches then.
He's been ever present this season. I don't think he's going to give this one up that easily. Willie Isa hasn't missed a game. Here's Byrne. They're in good position here, are the Warriors, and it's Williams. Farrell stretching for the pass. But Tuimavave makes the tackle on the Wigan Warriors' second row. Burgess a little change of direction, trying to catch Hull napping. That was on the last. That'll be the turnover.
I'm going to say it again. Hull FC are putting a lot of defenders on their right, Wigan's left, ready for that big shift, ready for the threat of Oliver Gildart, Liam Farrell. It might be better just edging towards that right side and give a bit of ball to Dan Sargentson.
Fash quickly closed down, gets the pass away, and Wigan will get it back, bang in front of those posts. Sneed furious there. Fash tried the offload. Wigan came up with it. They could capitalise here. Here is Romain Navarrete.
Well, Bill, that is when you lose your composure, knowing that you've been forced backwards and you offload that ball. Wasn't on at all.
It is on for club. Charging towards the line. Ellis making the tackle. Young Jordan Lane there as well. Can Hull withstand this pressure now? The ball across the field to Luluai. Luluai drifting his way across. It does find Marshall. Marshall goes for the corner. Does he get that down? He celebrates. Referee Ben Thaler is on the spot towards the try. Gets his second of the game. The only tries of the game going to Liam Marshall. And that took some finishing. Takes him into double figures for the season. And Wigan find a way round this stifling Hull defence. And it was that offload, that miscalculation from Brad Fash that it eventually led to Marshall capitalising.
It was a risky offload by the Black and Whites, and Wigan, they pounced on the opportunity. Thomas Luluai bats the ball down, collects possession, and just as we said, just as we mentioned, coming away from that left edge, that golden left edge of Wigan, they go over to the right. Zach Hardacre, who also, we talked about him getting more involved, provides the pass and the opportunity to that right winger, Liam Marshall.
You've got to make sure you do a good job on the outside backs from Wigan. And as soon as Jake Connor goes in, all of a sudden his teammate who's on the wing has got to go in and leave some space out wide for Marshall. Another important kick here now for Zach Hardacre.
Hardacre from just about as wide out as you can get with this conversion attempt, and across the face of the posts for Hardacre. What a finish from Liam Marshall. He is not the biggest of wingers. You look at the guys out, the other wingers out there, he's not among the biggest in the competition. A great finish.
Very good point, Bill. When a lot of teams nowadays talk about recruiting wingers into the squad, they look at the meters they make, how good they are at starting sets, gaining ground, tackles perhaps, but I don't think there is a winger better at finishing chances in Super League than Liam Marshall. Since he first burst onto the scene, he converts more opportunities into tries than I think anybody else. He's fantastic at getting in such tight spaces and making sure he gets that ball down.
I think Saints fans would probably argue the case for Tommy Makinson in that
Tommy
context.
Makinson has other great strengths, doesn't it? But I do think, in terms of chances and opportunities for wingers, I don't think there's anybody better than Marshall. There might be as good, and a penalty here for Wigan might give us another chance to see it, but all the things going wrong here now for Hull.
Yes, they are, because they've lost an influential player, I think.
The marker's not stood square, isn't it, those two players? Sorry.
Possibly for the time being, as we see that replay, because we can get some news from the sidelines from Jenna.
Yeah, Bill, Joe Westerman has gone into the dressing rooms to have a cut to the eye looked at. You've got to assume, though, I mean, this is the guy that played on with a dislocated knee, so I doubt a cut to the eye is going to keep him from returning.
It's Massey Motongo who smacked him, wasn't it? Yeah, Joe Westerman into rugby league legend with that dislocated kneecap replacement. And here is Williams. Farrell, Wigan ahead by 14 points to 6 then. Liam Marshall in the England night squad with 2 tries in this game. And it's Liam Byrne playing the ball. Here is Williams. Williams with the kick, and it's snapped up by Largo. Now watch him go. Watch him go. But what a cover tackle from Tony Clubb. What a tackle from Clubb. And no wonder he is mobbed by his teammates after that.
Tony Clubb is rolling back the years to when he first started in the professional game as a winger. He's confronted by another winger in the Largo. And that was a phenomenal effort from the now prop forward to get anywhere near him, because as soon as he caught the ball in, I thought he's away. He goes on the outside, he puts on the afterburners. Tony Clubb just hits him, hopes for the best. Yeah, he gives the ball as an offload to Albert Kelly.
Where does he come from?
Again makes a mistake.
He's about 20 metres back, but it's a great one-on-one tackle.
Brilliant effort
from the front rower. Andy Last is furious there. He knows that the pass inside to Albert Kelly had the greater chance of coming off.
Well, we just had a penalty for Hull not forming the scrum, and the siren went.
Your man were down. No, your man were down. No.
They ran out of time. So that just compounds Hull's misery.
Well, that's the first one that we've seen this year, isn't it? The scrum wasn't formed. The referee awards the penalty to Wigan. The Hull fans don't like it.
Certainly a rarity this season, if not the first. Here is Liam Byrne. You honestly thought that Ratu Nalago, we've seen him this season.
Well, last week he had a chance where he didn't take on the fullback for Warrington in the cup. That might have been where he decided to back himself, but he didn't account for club speed.
Or positioning.
It was club playing the ball there. And a lovely pass for Byrne. Now then, the referee, Ben Thaler, says, was that a double movement?
Maybe. It was too tempting for him, wasn't it? As he breaks the line, Liam Byrne, who's had some really good involvements for Wigan all evening, breaks the line, he gets a tackle around his mid-drift, lands on the floor. Now the question is, does he promote this ball? My first instinct was yes. That doesn't convince me I'm wrong. Let's have a look at this one. This will be the best one. Lovely no-look pass by Luluai. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I think you need to see this at full speed, because his body does end up over the line. Obviously, the ball ends up over the line. But does he actually promote it? It probably looks like it does move it forward with his arm. So the on-field decision, I think, in this case is crucial. And no try given.
Oh, his only other previous try was on debut when he played against Wigan, because that no-look pass. You thought that the big prop forward was over, but he couldn't quite get there.
Well, now you're going to see the strength of character in this Hull side now. 8 points behind, under a little bit of pressure here. Haven't been at the best, but the home supporters have found the voice. Need to find a way of winning some of these collisions, though. Again, Gareth Ellis picked up, put back, and the speed of the play of the ball is noticeably different between the two teams.
Club came charging out, looking for Matongo, who managed to ride the tackle.
Bill, it's like a frenzy. You've been there when you're carrying the ball. All of a sudden, someone flies the line, then the teammate next to you. You want to do exactly the same.
Which is why the black and white players cannot run solo. They can't go one out. You need somebody with you.
Here is Kelly now. Sneed, Griffin. Griffin tries to get round and then gets through, but eventually Clubb, who seems to be everywhere at the moment, comes across to make the tackle. Sneed kicks cross field. Burgess is underneath it and gets it at the second attempt, stretching above the Hull chasers.
Well, one of the tallest players and coming down with that ball, but Tony Clubb is like an old-fashioned sweeper from the 80s, just playing behind the line.
Bobbying.
Mopping up everything.
He's bobbying.
Well, I tell you what, this game will probably not go down as a classic in terms of quality, but in terms of tension, commitment.
It's a bruiser. This is what you want. This is what you want to turn up to see. You want to see 34 players, including the subs, just going out there and giving it absolutely everything.
Hardacre felt that from Matongo. Hull in third, Wigan fourth. Hull looking to go level on points with Warrington. Wigan looking to close on Hull. Sean O'Loughlin looking that possibly he's not going to play any further parts. Well, not tonight, but for how long? You do wonder. Joe Westerman, you can see the cut above his eye. Ready to come back on, though. They haven't written him off for this game. Here is Jake Connor. Hull fans desperate for him to just come up with something to wrong foot this Wigan defence.
I think he's got the key to victory. Jamie Shaw, it's no good catching that ball, although he is good around the play of the ball, around the rope.
Oh, the interception was there for Burgess.
He spotted that, didn't he? He spotted it a mile off Joe Burgess. He knew, he anticipated. He went up, he just waited his time. Yeah, he had to close the play down because it was a 2-on-1 if Nalago and obviously Tumavavi get that ball. And he comes up, he makes the error, but he closes the play down.
Well, they need to be careful here, Hull FC. The shot clock is on again. We make it 15 seconds, and they're still congregated around the physio.
They're taking their time. And eventually they get there with 4 seconds to spare. Having been penalised once tonight already. Here is Josh Griffin then. The game is frantic at times.
If you're a Hull FC fan, you want some strong carries. Then you want Connor on the ball. You want Albert Kelly on the ball. You want Jamie Shaw on the ball.
Sneed. Here is Brad Fash. Fash, though, completely swamped, but Navarrete and he have a little tete-a-tete after the ball, and Navarrete, I think, is penalised.
Yeah, and Brad Fash again, he's walking forward, he's looking to try and just get at Navarrete and just make it personal.
No time to catch your breath as the penalty is quickly tapped, and Ellis it was who took it in. Sneed to Motongo. Motongo, though. Powell punching above his weight there with the tackle. Houghton. Jake Connor. Connor taking them on for the first time since he came on the field, really. And Connor wrestling his way to and he gets the penalty, and then he's involved in a little scuffle. Words exchanged.
He doesn't mind a confrontation, Jake Connor, does it?
Well, I think Jake Connor's now gone into the stand-up role. Albert Kelly's gone off, made a couple of mistakes in this game, Albert Kelly. Jake Connor will have his hands on the ball more.
Ben Thaler's got his hands full.
Well, he's helping Wigan here, he gives him a rest.
Listen, I'm going to say, right, keep it cool, I'll deal with him. I don't need you, once the whistle's gone, coming in. Go over there, I'm going to have a word with him. Come on, come here.
And Jake Connor's going to get a talking to as well.
I've got him, right, I've got him. We've got the penalty. When the whistle blows, do me a favour, make it easy for yourself and just walk away. Just walk away. All right, Dan, right there, mate.
So back-to-back penalties for Hull FC.
Back up.
And Wigan off the line quickly. The crowd find their voices. Coming up to the last quarter of the game. Wigan ahead 14-6. Hull in possession. Houghton across the field. Short pass finds Ellis. Ellis. Good defence. It was Powell again down low. Sneed. Connor. Connor for Lane. Good work from Williams that time to make the tackle. Connor, little feint to his right, and then finds Sneed. Sneed puts the kick in, the ball bouncing, and Luluai will just have to shuffle that one over the dead ball line.
Well, they've scored from that place several times this season with a kick for Danny Houghton, but he couldn't try and find his hooker teammate there. It went past him, and Luluai knocks it out of play. They'll get one more chance here, 6 more plays, I should say.
You'd have that, though, wouldn't you? On the third play, he kicks it. He knows that they're under pressure. All of a sudden, their attitude seems better from Hull FC.
How hard is it, though, for Hull to break through this Wigan's defence? I think you're right, Shaw or Connor, but I can't see a situation that they find themselves, that they're able to create. You need more teammates to help them. Massive kick downfield.
Shaw is underneath it, well inside his own half. Motongo winds up for a charge. Oh, Byrne again on the borderline.
He's
Liam Byrne.
He is physical, Liam Byrne.
They both are, aren't they? Partington, Byrne. That's how they breed them in Wigan. Tough and uncompromising. Shoulder in.
That was borderline, surely. There's a hold. Motongo, in fact, is down. Oh! That's another penalty. Wigan really are taking it to the limit here, and they overstepped the limit on that occasion.
You're right, Bill. Motongo's still down in back play. Thomas Luluai.
He's a sledgehammer.
He's an axe. He chops people in half.
Motongo, I think, is going to have to leave the field.
That's hard, that, isn't it? Hard, that, when he feels he's okay. Here's the hit from Liam Byrne. He's got his head rocked back, and he's been told by his physio and doctor, we're going to have a look at you. And everything inside him is saying, but I want to stay on.
There's no technique in that tackle as well from Liam Byrne. He's just thinking, I'm going to whack him as hard as I can.
There's not been a lot of technique. Technique has not been really to the fore tonight.
Bodies in front, Bill, and hit as hard as you can. Forget about planting your feet and where you plant them.
Here is Gareth Ellis.
And I do believe the team that plays rugby, when it gets frantic and aggressive like this, uses the ball, finds that pass, finds the space, they profit.
Sneed looking for some space. None forthcoming, as Morgan Smithers it was who made the tackle. Connor off to Jordan Lane. He goes back across the field, then straightens up, bang in front of those posts. Gets the ball away. Scott Taylor saw it whistle past his shoulder, and it's Ellis who picks it up. Ellis gets it away, back to Taylor. Taylor winds himself up for a charge. Ferocious stuff. Brilliant. As Ellis is the dummy runner. Connor's short pass. And it's Fash, the man in the middle there. Fash wrestling his way to his feet. Houghton spins more. Sneed loses it. And it's Wigan's ball after all that.
And who makes the tackle, Bill? Willie Isa, as he's done.
And look at it, they're on the ground together.
There you go.
Isa and
Well, that's rugby league in a perfect image there. Players going toe-to-toe, giving nothing. And Willie Isa, correctly on that occasion, does enough to put Mark Sneyd off.
It's good defence on the outside, though, because the reason why he doesn't throw that ball, because everyone's up in the face, then Willie Isa on the inside, pushing hard, knowing that Mark Sneyd's got a good double left foot step coming back around his vicinity.
An hour of the game gone, and Hull trails 6 points to 14 in this compelling contest. As Sarginson has to step over Brad Fash. Fash really couldn't get out the way there. Referee Ben Thaler working hard to keep this game under control because it's simmering.
Big defence by Wigan. They put a lot of work in last 5 or 6 minutes.
Wigan with Liam Farrell over the halfway line, having weathered the storm at the other end of the field. Now bringing it towards the Hull line with Hardacre. That's the 5th tackle. And it's Williams who just drills it into the sidelines.
That's good play from the senior players from Wigan. Was nice and controlled, going up the middle of the field. Then George Williams at the back end kicks the ball out of the field, knowing that they've had 3 or 4 sets to defend near their own try line. And he steps up, knowing how valuable this field position could be, how valuable the energy levels could be in the final 18 minutes of the game.
A bruising contest here at the KCOM Stadium, and probably another bruising contest tomorrow night at the John Smith Stadium, where the Huddersfield Giants take on the Leeds Rhinos. 7 o'clock Sky Sports Arena for that one. And on Saturday, crucial game, Catalan Dragons against second place Warrington Wolves. Catalan outside the top 5 at the moment. 5 o'clock on Sky Sports Mix for that one. Here is Josh Griffin making his 200th career appearance. Hasn't really had an opportunity in this game. It's been stifling defence from this Wigan side. There's a sort of playoff feel to this game at times.
It certainly has that feeling, doesn't it, Bill? They've been very committed defensively, players into each other, as though this is for the trophy at the end of the year. It's for the valuable 2 points, isn't it? Who can finish in 3rd place? Nice kick here from Jake Connor on the money.
Oh, the ball has come free. It was Burgess who couldn't take it.
Well, Hull FC get the ball in. I thought they might call this ball in an offside position.
Accidental offside.
No, he's actually moved in front of him. As he goes to catch it, Burgess, he moves in front, and so that when Farrell gets the ball, he's actually got in front of him, so he's not offside, so it's a knock-on.
I was just about to say that, Stuart, but you'd interrupted me.
Well, it's a fantastic opportunity in here for Hull to narrow the gap.
Head and feed to Hull FC then on that Wigan 10-metre line. Sneyd and Minicello is back on the field to lend his irrepressible enthusiasm, which Hull will miss when he retires at the end of this season. Here is Scott Taylor. Taylor edging closer. Look how close they are to those Hull posts. Houghton, Sneyd, long pass from Sneyd. His Shaw, but look at the Wigan defence.
They did well to recover them because Oliver Goldart pulled the trigger and he went in.
Connor, Fash. Brad Fash working hard. Good drive from Brad Fash. 4 tackles gone. And Scott Taylor it is, who crashes over next to the posts. And the Hull pressure finally pays off, and it's the former Wigan man, Scott Taylor, who gets Hull's first try of the game. Close range effort. They were bashing away at the Wigan defence, and it was Taylor who eventually found a way through.
Well, they kept on knocking on that door, and it was Scott Taylor who barged through, but it's the mistake here from the kick from Joe Burgess. There was a big carry as well from Brad Fash, who played the ball there, which led to Scott Taylor coming onto the ball. But Brad Fash, I think, with that quick play of the ball, the unsettled line, Scott Taylor gets the ball, he goes at Partington, he hits him, spins out of it, and gets to the left-hand side, to the right-hand side of the post. And that's what it means to the former Wigan man.
It looks a lot like the try he scored against Warrington in the Cup last week, didn't it? Short, close range try. Too many defenders, but he still gets it down.
And Sneed will do the necessary, kicks the conversion. Hull 12, Wigan 14. Scott Taylor, as Barry says, back-to-back tries for Hull's number 8.
Well, it's as the bookmakers expected, wasn't it? There's only going to be a point or two between these two teams at 80 minutes. We've got 15 of the best minutes of this game still left to play, maybe even longer. We may go to golden point for the second time this season. These two sides.
Adrian Lamb looking worried that his side have not been able to shake off this Hull team.
Well, Chris Green back into the action now. Brad Fash off the field. It'll be nice and easy for Hull FC, although they look to shift it over to their left-hand side.
And Shaw looking to use his pace, but it was Luluai with another good tackle. Powell there once more. Sneed gets the pass away to Faraimo, who did well to take that one. It was drifting away from him. Sargentson with the tackle. Griffin goes over the halfway line, bouncing off the tacklers, but Byrne and Smithies, the youngsters, do the tackling for the Warriors. Here's Minicello for Lane, and that's good defence from Wigan. They have the ball back, and now Burgess will try and get away, but now Largo clings onto him and makes the tackle.
That was a massive tackle. I think it was George Williams. Puts the shot in, dislodges the ball, and Wigan looking to pounce.
They're going across to the other side of the field now, where they've got some numbers. They've got Luluai. Westerman back out there with those stitches in his cut. And that's a penalty. They were just, talk about flopping, they were nearly asleep.
Yeah, just too long in that. Changing the tempo of the run, Thomas Luluai. Well, they look to run the play here. Nice and controlled on the right-hand side, isn't he, Thomas Luluai? Good combination with Willie Isa. Defensively, they've been really strong.
Now here's Smithies and Wigan with an opportunity to open up a bigger points advantage. Here is Clubb, and Clubb driving towards the line. He's held up. The referee has a good look, but Tony Clubb was close there to his third try of the season.
Trying to get a one-on-one, wasn't he, with Jordan Lane? Skips across a few defenders, picks out Lane.
Big figure, Tony Clubb. Now then, here's Partington. Fresh-faced front rower. How long will that last? Here is Powell. Williams on to Luluai, clings on at the second attempt. Hardacre trying to take him on himself, and Faraimo makes the tackle with assistance from Jake Connor. So Marshall, Luluai has to
good hands,
cling to that one. Here is Williams now. Williams across the field. Gildart's ducking under the challenge from Tumavave. That's the fifth tackle. Good defence, desperate defence from Hull. Burgess. Williams, time to pick his spot. Cross field. Hardacre clings onto it, bats it down, and it's Griffin who swoops on it.
How committed are both of these sides? It's fabulous, isn't it? Just a 2-point advantage to the Warriors. Mark Sneed knowing that they need that quick play of the ball, getting out of trouble.
Minicello protesting, looked all on a penalty as Sargentson was clinging onto him. Referee Ben Thaler said that he wasn't being held. Here is Westerman now. 3 tackles gone. You've got to wonder if last week's Challenge Cup exertions are going to show in these closing stages for Hull, but there's no sign of a drop in their commitment here. They trail by just 2 points. Here is Sneed, Westerman, Connor, Jamie Shaw, Tumavave now to Ratu Nalango. Gets the pass away, does well. Shaw then on to Connor. Westerman, the Wigan defence, keeping their focus, keeping their position. Minicello spins out of the challenge from Smithers, penalty. Go for the 2, scores will be level. Smithers is beside himself.
He does that so well, doesn't he, Mark Minicello? Back against the grain. He takes a high shot from Morgan Smithies. You can just see just that last little step at the end. The last step at the end.
They've done that all night, though, Hull FC, haven't they? They've dropped players back, trying to go back down that middle channel and possibly target a fatigued, a tired, a front rower, a middle man that just not quite concentrating. And the young man, Morgan Smithies, I think Tony Clubb was there or thereabouts as well.
Yeah.
Tight.
When I've moved it, yeah.
Tight as a submarine door.
And Sneed, who was, of course, the hero of that extra time win at Wigan back in February. The ace marksman. A figure who has tormented Wigan at times tonight, upset Wigan at times as well.
They upset Willie Ice at the first half, didn't he?
And this to level the scores with 9 minutes to go. Mark Sneed does just that. Into the 90s, 91 goals this season.
Well, we
92, beg your pardon.
Well, we see the same mindset now from Lee Radford's men. Couple of strong carries, look to shift it, get out of trouble. Adrian Lamb knows now that this will go down to the wire. And let's hope that both sides have the same attitude that they've had for the opening 71 minutes. Keep playing strong, keep defending strong.
Adrian Lamb has the dilemma. Does he introduce Jared Sammett? He's the only player of the 34 who's not been on the field so far. Don't forget, Sean O'Loughlin only played a short period. So those guys for the Warriors side have played longer than they typically would. Sammett, is he a match winner or a match loser? He sits and waits.
In terms of one-pointers on either side, of course, Mark Sneed, 7 drop goals to his name this season. Sam Powell has 2 that were crucial in the games, but he might not need it because Westerman is through. Joe Westerman has
too many options.
Got some support, but it was Chris Green who was on his shoulder.
Slipped. You can see his left foot. He's no boot on that foot.
Has he got the drop goal here, Sneed?
Here is Chris Green.
He's in the box.
Sneed is back in the pocket. He's going to go for it now, surely. It's back with Sneed, but what a great chase from Isa. What great work from Isa. And it's Partington who brings the ball away.
He's done it again, hasn't he, Willie Isa? He's done enough to just get in the eye line of Mark Sneed. There's a problem with Joe Westerman.
He's in all kinds of trouble. He's trying to get his boot back on.
He's only got one boot. That's what the trouble is.
I'll tell you what, it was a skillful effort by Sneed. I mean, a drop goal's a difficult skill anyway. To do it on your non-dominant foot, he's a left foot kicker. Tried to do it with his right foot. Very talented.
Westerman is...
he's gone. He's gone.
His boot is now on the sidelines. He's hobbling his way back into the defensive line.
I don't think he's any better off.
Gildart's pointing at him. He wants to come this way.
Hardacre launches that one into the sky. Good grief.
That is horrible.
And Shaw so cool underneath that one. And Hardacre with the chase. Can't make the tackle, but guess who is there?
Westerman's
Morgan
gone.
Smithies. Westerman is on. He's not off the field yet.
I don't know whether he rolled his ankle when he made that break and lost the boot. What a game we've got here. Last 6 minutes or so, and they've made that change now, the black and whites.
Massimo Tongo has come back onto the field to replace Joe Westerman, who is hobbling as Carlos Tuimavave plays the ball. Here is Matongo, recovered from that knock. That's the 5th tackle. Surely not from this distance, Sneed. Oh, yes. Oh, no. That's going to be fielded by Marshall.
There was a game in the NRL last week that had 6 failed drop goals before the winner went over the 7th one. Manly beat the Melbourne Storm. We've seen 2 attempts so far. We're going to bound to have a chance here in the remaining 5 minutes or so.
But Hardacre, he just didn't know where to go.
And what you don't want to do as well, Bill, when you're going for those 1 points, you don't want to kick it dead without it going over the sticks, and then it's 7 tackles that the opposition have got. Good harassing in defence here from Hull FC.
Here we go. Good work from Farrell. He's got the ball wide. They've got the ball wide to Marshall, but Faraimo just got a touch. Minicello came across to complete. Here's Williams now. Surely there's more petrol in the Wigan tank. Hull must be running on fumes by now. At least that warning light of low-level fuel must be going off. Williams back across the field. They're trying to get Sarginson into the action.
Are they trying to get centre field for that drop goal?
Here is Clubb. Puff of the cheeks from Clubb, and it was Green with the tackle. It's back with Hardacre. Hardacre from distance. And Hardacre is on target.
Well, that was the reason it looked a bit pedestrian for Wigan. Somebody needed to take control, get midfield, and give the drop goal attempt the best chance possible. On that occasion, it's Zach Hardacre. It's not the prettiest, but they all count. 1 point in front for Wigan.
Hull need the ball back. He's brilliant at this so far this season.
The ball is batted back, and it's Hardacre who gets it. I think it was Joe Burgess who climbed to bat that ball back, and Hardacre, they've obviously practiced this situation and they dealt with it well. So Hardacre's drop goal, his first of the season, has put Wigan 15-14 ahead. And how crucial is that, those extra 2 points from the penalty try?
Well, they need to restrict the yardage as well, and I agree with you, those 2 points could be costly here.
No more Albert Kelly tonight for Hull FC. He's picked up a chest injury. Sean O'Loughlin, of course, going off earlier on for the champions with a chest injury. And Luluai kicks downfield, looking for a touch, but Faraimo is there. The Hull fans imploring Beretta Faraimo to take on the Wigan defenders, but again, great commitment from the Warriors.
Well, nice and solid, wouldn't let Faraimo get to ground. He was trying to get the ball carrying arm to the ground to get up and play it quickly, but nice and physical in defence then, the Warriors.
Here is Carlos Tuimavave. Jake Connor flicks the pass out. Now Langer can't take it.
Well, Bill, they're playing catch-up rugby, aren't they? They've got to try it with that little flick pass to probably one of the most dangerous attacking weapons on the field, but he just can't get that ball in. He hasn't had the opportunities that we've saw this year on Sky Sports. Nalago.
He is up very flat. As a rule, he's very flat, isn't he? We've seen a number of times that ball, when he's been supporting plays, it's gone behind him. Of course, new to our sport, played rugby union.
Shot clock off. Out and back
Shot clock.
Jamie, think about it.
Hull just beat it by the skin of their teeth. Zach Hardacre's second drop goal of his career.
Wait, Danny,
and his first, as he plays the ball, was for Leeds against Wigan back in 2015. 25-18 win.
This try's been good, hasn't it? Dan Sarginson.
Oh, Sarginson was held. Sarginson was held. Sarginson was sold. It's that exciting.
Back on, tackle 2.
Liam Farrell. Wigan looking to avenge that 1 point defeat they suffered at Hull's hands back in February. They lead by 1 point here at the KCOM. This could be a vital win in terms of who gets a top 3 finish as well, because they will close the gap on third place Hull with this victory, if it is to be a victory. Here is Hardacre. Hardacre looking to sew this one up. He's just short. And that's the turnover. That was on the last. And Hull survive. Still time for the black and whites. Adrian Lamb knows that.
He looked dangerous. I thought he was going to kick the ball off the field and just play the clock down, but still not a bad place to turn the clock. The ball over. But I think Willie Isa has been brilliant. The pressure that he's put on anyone who's carrying the ball, especially Mark Sneed, and he's done it again. He's a little terrier, isn't he? He's not the biggest.
We make it, that's his 37th tackle, Willie Isa. And you're right, I'd say a good third of those have been in the eye line. of the half-back Mark Sneed.
Connor's gone for a 40-20. Connor's gone for a 40-20. Never mind that. Nalango is chasing it, and Hardacre has to look lively. He was offside.
He's offside, yeah.
Well, neither one of the coaches, Lee Radford or Adrian Lamb, can sit still.
Time is off.
Shuffling along in the seat. There's the kick, and there at the bottom of the screen you can see the offside player.
Jake Connors chuntering on the sidelines after that decision. He's got to be careful. He's now having a chip at Ben Thaler. Hull frustrated, and Wigan heading for a second one-point win this season in Hull. They got away from the Hull Kingston Rovers by the skin of their teeth, and it looks like it's going to happen again tonight on the other side of the city, and it'll be down to some absolutely superb defence. And the effort of that man as well, that tackle on Nalango was crucial.
It's been won in the forwards this match. Both coaches talked about it. Although the tries have come from the outside backs, he's not happy.
It's just
You're winning,
torture,
Lammy.
isn't it? It's torture. The ball's kicked into touch, and Hull will race to form the scrum.
Is he going to crack a smile?
Not yet, I don't think he will. I think he will when he congratulates his players if his side go on and win this game. And as I said, the Wigan points have come from the back line, the back division, but it's been off the graft and the hard work and the toil and the aggression of the forward pack, including Willie Isa.
Sneed, little chip kick over the top. It doesn't come off, and it's Powell who is underneath it. That's the final act of the game, and Wigan celebrate. Sneed and Willie Isa, just as the hooter sounded there, just have one last exchange of compliments, but Willie Isa and Wigan celebrate a truly battling victory, 15-14, and of course 2 extra points in there from that 8-point try.
That's right, it's been a gritty performance from Wigan. They've had plenty of time to prepare. Let's not forget the Black and Whites of Hull SC played Warrington 5 days ago. But I think for me, this performance has been personified by that man in your screen there. That's the reason he's the Betfred man of the match. Willie Isa run his blood to water, defended and taken away all the think time and threat of Mark Sneed.
He was brilliant last time that they played. It was Liam Farrell that got man of the match in front of the Sky Cam.